Chelek Chaf Aleph, the second Sichah. This is a beautiful, beautiful Sichah about the koyach of achdus, of unity, and really, really beautiful Sichah and a beautiful hero at the end as well. Huh? Yeah. So additionally, okay, Chelek Chaf Aleph, like I said, Sichah Beis Yisro. It's page 108. Yeah, even pasuk Vayichan Shem Yisrael Neged Dahar, concerning the pasuk that the Yidden encamped there opposite the mountain, right before Mount Torah. Take the Mechilta, and the Mechilta says like this: Kol Mokim Hu Eimer Vayiso Vayachanu. In everywhere in the Torah it says Lashon Rabbah, plural. They traveled, they encamped. So from here, the Mechilta learns, and Noisim b'Machlekes. Number one, they traveled always with conflict, and choynim b'machlekes, and they also encamped with conflict. So they travel with conflict and they encamp with conflict. Aval kan hushvu leiv echad, but here they were uniform with one heart. That's how the Mechilta learns. It says vayichan l'shni yachid. Every place it says vayiso, vayisu, vayachanu, which means that. So first of all, they traveled machlekes, and whenever they encamp, it was always a fight. But here, they were uniform in one heart. Look at Ebed, the Maimer read Oich gebracht and Pirush Rashi Later. This commentary is also brought in Rashi. And Rashi states, Ober in Afakertena Seder. Rashi says this in a reverse order. What does Rashi say? Vayichan Sham Yisrael. Rashi says, first of all, Ki'ish Echad B'Leiv Echad. Here he says it was with, as one man with one heart. But at all other encampments, there were complaints and conflicts. So, in the beginning, it seems very alike. What's the difference? Now, so the Rebbe says like this: from the Mechilta, it comes out, the Chiddush is in Der Chaniya. In dem was kan hushvu leiv echad. From here, the wording of the Mechilta indicates that the Chiddush is that this encampment here, by Mount Torah, they were uniform with one heart. Not that they traveled here with machlekes and they encamped with machlekes. So that's the chiddush over here. Usually it says Vayiso Vayachanu. Here it says Vayichan to tell us that Dafki here by Mount Torah, they were with one uniform heart. However, for Rashi's mashma, as the chiddush is fakert, from Rashi comes out that the chiddush is the exact opposite. In dem was abel sharach kolachaniyas betarubumois umachlekes, which comes out from Rashi that the chiddush is that by the other encampments there were complaints and conflict. So the Rebbe says Darben Bashtem. We have to understand. What is this rationale between the difference between the Mechilta and Rashi? So here, Rashi and the Rebbe will explain in a second, but here Rashi is learning out from Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Dahar, which means that, I guess the way that I was learning, and we'll see that the Chiddush is that by other places there was Tarumas and Machlekes. Okay, so the Rebbe says this in base. The Pashtus is the Chiddush verbunden mit Ashini zwischen Rashi mit dem Mechilta in einem Eufen Alimut von Pasuk wie Shengeret Amol. Now, on the Pashtus, the difference between Rashi and Mechilta understands something which we already discussed previously. Which means, like this. The Mechilta learned Arois dem Inyan as Kol Mokim, Loisim b'Machlekes, V'choynim b'Machlekes, Refun was steht by Yisro v'Yachenu. Now, the Mechilta learns that in every other place, they traveled with conflict, and they encamped in conflict. From the wording of the pasuk Vayisu, they traveled, Vayachnu, and they encamped in the plural way. Or the river Bashtet der Chiddush in Dem Shinei was da steht Vayichal Nashe Yafet Kan Hushulei Vechad. So here the Chiddush is the fact that the Torah deviates from the normal Lashon and says Vayichan, he encamped in the singular. Here they were uniform in one heart. Shegen Rashi bring niti verter Vayisu Vayachnu. by Rashi, he does not quote the words in his Dibra Maskell. He doesn't even quote by Yisro Vayachanu. Well, the Tam was to stay blush and nabim ken zayin kipshutei. But that's a vegin mera mention shvatim choli. Now, why? Because according to Pashto Pshat, you could say the reason why the Torah uses plural verb is because the pasuk is speaking about many shvatim, many tribes. Now, Rashi learned our race, the opinion from them was the pasuk is medayik umad yishda gufa vayichan sham Yisro. So therefore, Rashi learns from the nuance and the emphasis of the pasuk here itself that the Yidden encamped there. The L'cheira is there word sham ayita lashon. The word sham vayichan sham Yisrael is superfluous. It's extra. As could have said that the Yidden encamped in the desert and Vayichan Yisrael neged Har. Why does it have to say Vayichan Sham Yisrael? From Mukov, so therefore Rashi says as Dafke Sham by Derech Aliyah, Dafke by Sham, Dafke by this encampment by Mantera is given Vayichan Lashon Yachid. Therefore, Rashi learns that for the extra word there, at this encampment, as one man with one heart, but all other encampments, there were complaints and conflicts. So the Rebbe says, based on this, we have to understand the logic of the Mechilta. Based on this, we have to understand the Mechilta. How do the words they traveled, that they encamped, Lashon Rabbim, indicate that they traveled with conflict and they encamped with conflict? So, we have to also, we need clarification. In Mechilta Alein Zop Even Bazek, by Yisum Ne Yisum Ramses Sukoise, the top pasuk says that the Yidden traveled from Ramses to Sukkos, and the Mechilta says, Keheref Ayin Nosum Ne Yisum Ramses the Sukkos, that the Yidden traveled from Ramses to Sukkos in a blink of an eye. The Kayim Mashanemar V'esa Estam Al-Kanfei Nishanim V'Gamer, and this is to be Mekayim, the pasuk that says, I bore you on eagle's wings. Zicher and on Nesia and on Eifen. From Keref Ayin is nit shayach given ken inge from Machlekes v'choli, which it's impossible to have any arguments during a journey that begins and ends in the blink of an eye. Hein wie kommt es as dort nicht steht der Lashon Vayisu Lashon Abim was leider Mechilta Vaisis is Nesim Machlekes. So now, why then would the pasuk there say Vayisu they traveled in plural, which according to Mechilta means they traveled with Machlekes? So the question is, it says Vayisu when they saw Ramses Misukis, and it was Keheref Ayin. So if Keheref Ayin, it means that there's no time for Machlekes. So why would they use the Lashon of Vayisu? Vayisu, if you're just saying that Vayisu means Lashon Machlekes. Uli Dechisa, on the other hand, it's in Pirush Rashi and movement. Also, Rashi is not understood. Avos is the passing Meisiv, the word Sham, it's a shell Zayin, as Shar Kol Chaniyas, but the Numas Machlekes. On the other hand, according to Rashi, why would the Torah add the words there to indicate that other encampments were complaints and strife? The Ma'anaf community, and their Pasha from Antera, it's undaitin, if Gnusum Shal Yisrael by Shar Kol Chaniyas. Why is it relevant here in the section discussing the giving of the Torah to highlight the Jewish people's unseemly behavior in all other camps? So we said in Beis, just to recap, we said the simple difference between the Mechilta and Rashi, we spoke many times. Mechilta learns out from that Kol Mokim, that they were Nesim Machlekes, Bechedim Machlekes, from the words Vayisu, Vayafnu, Lashon Rabbim. Why does it say Vayisu, Vayafnu, Lashon Rabbim, and over here it says Vayicham, Lashon Yachid? So it must be because over here, Hushvu, Leiv, Echad. Mashekin, Rashi does not learn Vayisu, Vayafnu, Lashon Rabbim, because Rashi could tell you the reason why it says Lashon Rabbim, because there was a lot of Shvatim that were encamping. So how do I learn it now from? I must learn it now from the word Sham. Why does it say Vayichan Sham? Why does it have the extra word Sham? It must be because Dafka over there by Mantera they were Kishachot B'Leivechot. So the Rebbe says you have to understand how does so based on this, how does the Mechilta know just from the words Vayisu Vayirachanu that they were Chaynim Machlekes? Also the pasuk says Vayisu Yisrael Meramses Sukaisei. Rashi, the Mechilta says it was Keheref Ayin. Now, Keheref Ayin means that they don't have any time for Machlekes. So they don't have any time for machlekes. That means there was no machlekes. So why would it use lashon of by Yisro? And according to Rashi, why would the Torah go ahead and allude to by Matan Torah that the Yidden in other places were b'machlekes for what reason? What's the point of it? Just to tell us the gnus of the Yidden everywhere else? Why not Gemina? So the Rebbe says in Gimel like this. Kolel Sabir and them. The point is as follows: Pirish Rashi is daf al derech pshat. Rashi is always aligns with pshat. Ubemelev and Rashi is up kol hachaniyos b'taruves umachlekes maintain the minion b'taruves umachlekes in pashtan zin krigarai. So when Rashi says that all other encampments were complaints and conflicts, that means that there were simply complaints and conflicts. There was actually krigarai. There was fighting. One of them is from lashon vayisru vayachnu nitokin heshlish afilu nit b'mashmois ashar kol hachaniyos b'taruves umachlekes. Why? While in the lashon dabim is b'pashtan tokin undied if krigarai it's v'shnidin kanal. So according to Rashi, Yisro vayachnu does not prove and doesn't even imply that all other encampments were with complaints and conflicts. This is because the plural form of the word, or on a simple level, does not allude to any form of infighting between the Jewish people as discussed above, because you could say Yisro vayachnu means that they traveled many shvatim. Dafke, therefore, was der Pasuk da is medayik. Vayichan sham Yisro neged ha'ar lerken often al chiddush. Dafke specifically, the Torah emphasized the Jewish people encamped here, opposite the mountain. As dafke by der chani as an yiding event, yishachad b'leiv echad. Al shar kol chani as b'terum l'semachlikas kanal. So Rashi pshuta shemikra. Pshuta mishnah mikra. Rashi tells you not from the word Yisro vayachnu does not tell me that in other places there was tarumas and machlekes, because you could say for pashtus that it's lashon rabbim because there was many shvatim that were in camp. So why does it say sham? Why does it say? So therefore, I can only learn it out from the extra word of sham. Sham is extra. They tell us that dafke sham, dafke by Matan Torah there was hishachad b'leiv echad. Shaking like the Mechilta. Why? Because Rashi learns what does it mean? Tarumas means machlekes. Mamish means krigarai, means fighting. Shaking according to the Shaking like the Mechilta. However, according to the Mechilta, is the pirish from machlekes nit in dem zin from kriegen zich hepech hashal nor hepech from leiv echad chilukei deis. Shaking according to the Mechilta, the definition of conflict and fighting is not the opposite of peace, but rather the opposite of one heart, meaning they have differences of opinions. It means that not the fighting, they have chilukei deis, they have difference of opinions. V'bal das ein day same shavis is when Rabbim darfen tanan inyan muzen api teva oifkoin fashidan deis v'das tutan kietzum. So since the minds are not alike, when multitude of people need to perform a task, so different views on how to do it, it's inevitable. You're going to have different opinions. Right? What do they say? 2 Jews, 3 opinions. When they're far state by Allah Chaniyas and Nesiyas, by Yisro vayachnu Lashanabim, by Yeder Nesiyah, by Chaniyas and Chilukei deis v'shnidin. So according to the Mechilta, the reason why the Torah says by Yisro vayachnu is because during each journey and encampment, there were different views amongst the Jewish people. As the members masayis b'midbar and menamas members madrigas baliyas and avodas Hashem, especially according to what it says in B'pnimiyas Atero, that the 42 journeys in the desert represent the 42 levels of ascent in avodas Hashem. And then for chilukim zwischen Yed and Yidin and Allah Adre. By Yeder is the Aliyah Masa Leit Zayin Dagan avodas Hashem Leit Zayin Levavcha Nafshcha Meidecha. So every Yid has his journey, has his ascent, and his elevation according to his level is service of Hashem, according to his heart, his soul, and his strength. However, here by Der Chani of Matan Torah. So what was the chiddush by Matan Torah according to the Mechilta? It's given a chiddush by Yichan Shem Yisro neged ha'ar hushvu leiv echad. Over here they were uniform in one heart. Steindig neged ha'ar. So Kabbalah says there is hushvu leiv echad. Since the Jewish people stood opposite the mountain to receive the Torah, they were uniform with one heart, the same heart. Ein und derselbe leiv. I feel nit levav. It doesn't even say levav, in the same heart, one heart. Why? Balteda was tut auf dem Shalom Mishlemos hat gefehlt an Aftus Gemura zwischen Yidin bis sein Bottle sehr chilukei deis, because Torah brings absolute peace So the Torah brought about a perfect unity amongst the Jewish people to the extent that they no longer held different opinions. That's the Koyach HaTorah. Und damit ist verstanden, was bei den Nesiya mit Ramses Sukkos steht, bei Yisro Loshen Rabim. So now we can understand why concerning the journey of Ramses to Sukkos, it says by Yisro plural. Weil Alpha as the Nesiya was his given Keref Ayin is given on Eifim von Kulum Kefach. So even though, yes, the Nesiya over there, in blink of an eye, was in a complete harmony, for deswegen came in his Zagen der Ruf Loshen Yachid. Nevertheless, you can't say a singular form. Why? As by Zeizan nit given Keshelugeides, Mitzad Zer Seichel Vadas. As Zavs, well, skip. That's why in Kemenit Zagen der Ruf Loshen Yachid, as by Zeizan nit given Keshelugeides, Mitzad Zer Seichel Vadas, as Zav was hat sich aufgetan, darf man durch Tene, Negador, Ushkulam, play effort. So therefore, you cannot use the singular word, which connotes that amongst the Jewish people there were no different views that would naturally result from their intellect and understanding, and the Torah could accomplish this. So here they were uniform, only the Torah could accomplish this, as is discussed before. Rashi zok noch mehr, Rashi says even more. As Torah tutuf achtus, euch in an Ort, was is in ihm voran, nit nur Likkutei, nor tarumas machlekes, mein tarumas kupshuti. So what's the chiddush of Rashi? Rashi tells us that Vayichas Shem Yisrael, that Torah has the power to unite people not only with difference of opinion, but mamash machlekes, mamash fighting. Vayichas Shem Yisrael, Mashrak al Chaniz, but tarumas machlekes. So Rashi takes it a step further. The Torah brings unity even in places not only with complaints and conflict, but also with actually fighting. Literally, the Yidden encamped there, but on all their camps there were complaints and conflicts. All right, all it.